Hi guys, Vino here and welcome to this Vino Plunk production, and welcome ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages, welcome to the video you've all been waiting for, and that is of course my retrospective of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Obviously there's a bit of a joke yet, but I have been teasing this video for a while now, so why not make a big thing about it? Yes, this is going to be my thoughts and opinions and look back on the film that started it all. I have here my Harry Potter Hogwarts collection, which is a really nice, gorgeous collection. I've shown it off before. I'll show it off briefly here. Each page is like this, and then each page has 4 discs for each movie. Some movies only have 3 discs, but there's the DVD, the Blu-ray, and then 2 bonus features discs, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. There's a Blu-ray special features disc, a DVD special features disc. So yeah, this is a hell of a collection, and has been in my collection for quite some time now. This is the 5th time I've actually bought this collection. I may do a story time on that at some point, but we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and I should have been a bit more prepared for this because I want to put it on this shelf somewhere in the background to have as a prop piece, but I'm going to have to move some things out the way so you guys get to see the glorious moment of me moving stuff around in order for me to be able to fit Harry Potter. There we go. Does that look good? I can't actually see it because there's like a histogram in the way, but hopefully you guys can see that and can see the representation of Harry Potter. So before I go any further, obviously J.K. Rowling is becoming quite the controversial figure, and I just want to address that I'm able to separate the art from the artist. There are some people that do have a problem with the films, with the books, because of what's been going on, and I perfectly understand that. I'm able to separate, you know, her comment and her from the art itself, and I still enjoy these films greatly, but I can understand why people may not enjoy these, or why their enjoyment of these films has been sullied by J.K. Rowling's comments over the last however many years. But I felt it respectful in a way to address that before we go any further, because of course it would be remiss of me to acknowledge and sort of, you know, shine a quick light on that. But moving on to more positive things, I don't think I can get over how big of a deal the first Harry Potter film was in the UK, or all of the Harry Potter films. To give you context, Harry Potter saved the British film industry. So around the time that Harry Potter was starting to come out, not long after Harry Potter came out, James Bond went to an American production company, was a British production company, had to go to an American production company because the British production company was literally running out of money. And Harry Potter almost single-handedly saved a lot of British films having to go to American production companies, and of course things would change as a result of that. So as each successive film came out, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. It was already massive. Of course, Harry Potter, starring a bunch of British stars, obviously a British author. The first couple of films were of course directed by Chris Columbus, who of course is American. But then they went on to be directed by British individuals. It's a very British thing, and it's kind of, you know, a British institute, if you will. That may offend some people to say that, but, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. To give you my thoughts and opinions on Harry Potter, I remember going to the cinema and watching it either with family or with school. I think I watched it both ways, because back then my school would take kids that have they've behaved themselves to the cinema, and Harry Potter was, I actually watched like the first 3 or 4 films doing it that way. So there you go. I really like the first film. There's a lot of people that I've spoken to, obviously in the intervening years, that have said that the acting's not great from the core 3, you know. Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint. Yes, the acting's not brilliant, but to me, there's so much gravitas to the first film. One of my personal favourite scenes, and probably favourite scenes ever, is the wizard chess scene when Ron and Hermione, what have you, Harry and Hermione are chess pieces, as well as, you know, Ron on the back of the horse for the night and he sacrificed himself and all that kind of stuff. I think that's a fantastic scene, and still, whenever I put this film on, I look forward to that scene. I love that scene in so many different ways. I love the fact that the ending part of the film, Ron, Hermione and Harry all use their talents and the skills that they've gathered throughout the film in the end of the film. The reveal of Voldemort, I thought, was pretty damn awesome. You know, the film was actually quite creepy at times, where they're in the forest and you see that figure in the forest drinking unicorn blood, and you wonder who the hell he is, and you find out that it's, of course, Professor Quirrell, with Voldemort on his back of his head, which is a rather grotesque imagery if you think of that. You know, and the way Voldemort dies just sort of crumbles to pieces when Harry touches him. You could say that's a bit of a lame way of dying, but at the same token, you know, with what Harry Potter was at the time, a very positive thing. It obviously gets a lot darker in later films. I think the film still today stands the test of time. The set dressing is just fantastic. Obviously you get the wonderful Leslie Phillips as the Sorting Hat, which, you know, I love the Sorting Hat. I really like the Sorting Hat. Gryffindor! You know, he has such a voice that he brings to the Sorting Hat, and it's such a fantastic character. Richard Harris as Dumbledore. A lot of people do wonder if Richard Harris stayed on as Dumbledore if he hadn't actually passed away after the second film. I actually wonder if he could have stayed on, whether they would have recast Dumbledore anyway. Obviously Michael Gambon took over from the third film onwards, but I do wonder if Richard Harris could have carried that mantle through to all of the films if they had to recast him. I think he was in his 80s or 90s or something. He was getting on a bit when he actually did unfortunately passed away. Rest in peace. You know, Richard Harris is a fantastic actor, and I know him best for Oliver Cromwell, which is a fantastic film, a long film, but a fantastic film about, and he's fantastic in that. And, you know, when I heard that he was in, and I watched that at school many times, when I heard he was in the first Harry Potter film, I was like, oh, Richard Harris. You can't what's the word? You can't dismiss Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid. Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid. What a casting. What a casting. Robbie Coltrane is a bit of a national treasure. He is a beloved actor here in the UK. He has starred in a number of TV shows, mainly on the ITV side of things, but he is a beloved actor. I know him from a TV show known as Cracker, which is a cracking show, about Robbie Coltrane, starring as Fitz, who is a criminal psychologist, who is not actually a perfect man. He's a drunk, he's a wife beater. There's a storyline about him potentially being a wife beater. He's not the perfect human being, but he's a fantastic criminal psychologist. So to see Robbie Coltrane on the big screen, he has done big screen roles before, but to just see him become Hagrid, I can't think of any other actors as Hagrid. Maybe Brendan Gleeson, who of course goes on to play as Mad-Eye Moody, but I can't think of any other actors that could pull off Hagrid as well as Robbie Coltrane does. I like the fact that we start with, you know, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson and Rupert Grint, and we get to see them grow up as the film goes on, and there's nothing that can quite capture the magic that the first film brought to the big screen. And it really did bring a sense of wonderment to the books, and so to the universe, to the magical universe that is Harry Potter and it just opened up your imagination of what the series can be. Obviously, we now know what the series was. It's still continuing on, if you want to consider the Fantastic Beasts series as a continuation of the Harry Potter series. Some do, some don't. That's a personal preference. But I can't get over how much of a impact Harry Potter had on both the British film industry, on many moviegoers for many years. It was a titan for many years, and it just. I'm thinking back, the Quidditch, the first ever Quidditch match, just so much, and so much of it is foreshadowing from, of course, the Golden Snitch to other things that end up happening, to the fact that you think Snape is evil throughout all of it, and you find out that he's not so evil. And Alan Rickman as Snape, may I say anymore. Just fantastic casting, fantastic premise that just kept growing and growing from there. From my personal, always laugh when, of course, Ron's owl whacks into the window. Always a funny scene. The word I'd use for that first film is wonderment. There's so much wonderment in that first film, and a wonderment that you could say gets soiled by the rest of the films. Soiled in the fact that that wonderment disappears because you now know what's happening. There's not so much wonderment because you're being shown what's happening. Obviously, they do differ from the books quite substantially, but the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone, if you prefer, is just, I think it's a really, really good film. It's a good watch, especially around Christmas, because obviously there's a heavy Christmas influence on it. It's just a fantastic, fantastic film. And I've watched this series the whole way through, this box set the whole way through numerous times. And I'm going to do it numerous times in the future. It really is not only a fantastic film, this box set's fantastic. And it really did set the stage for what was to come. So that's been my thoughts, my opinions on Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I am going to have to cut this shorter than I wanted to, because my battery is about to die. But hopefully you enjoyed my little look back on Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, my personal favourite scenes, elements of the film, and let me know if you agree or disagree in the comment section down below. But until next time, guys, please take care, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.